Hello, Mark. My first article is Africa President claims to be negotiating Coney surrender. The Central African Republic's president said Thursday he was negotiating the surrender of wanted Ugandan military boss Joseph Kony, but Washington dismissed the claims. The announcement had raised hopes that Kony and his Lord's resistance army were on their last legs, but U.S. officials quickly moved to describe reports the rebel leader himself was involved in surrender talks as not credible. It's true, Joseph Kony wants to come out of the bush. We are negotiating with him. Michael DeJodia said during a meeting with political leaders in the capital, Bangui. He asked for food supplies and the government took care of that, the Central African in- interim leader said. Kony's LRA, which claimed to be fighting for the 10th Commandment when it was found a quarter-century ago, is considered one of the most brutal groups in Africa's recent history. It started as an insurgency fighting President Yoweri Museveni's regime, but in recent years, its defeated remnants have operated mostly in neighboring countries as a roving mercenary and extortionist gang. LRA men have raped and massacred villagers in the region, evading arrest in one of the most impenetrable regions of Africa, straddling the borders of Central African Republic, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and South Sudan. Envoys from the United Nations and African Union said on Wednesday after meeting DeJodia there were indications that Kony might be seeking to come out of the bush because he is thought to be seriously ill. The LRA, described by the International Crisis Group as a multinational criminal and terror band, is thought to be a dwindling force of 500 fighters at most. There are 7,000 people with him, DeJodia said Thursday, presumably referring to enslaved abducted villagers. He did not prove further information on Kony's whereabouts. No reason to believe. Well, Jotodia is believed to have had contact with some LRA fighters with no reasons to believe that Joseph Kony is a part of these negotiations, a senior U.S. official told AFP. The group of fighters is thought to have said it would lay down arms if given some form of amnesty and land to farm in the Central African Republic, the official said. The group has claimed it could draw out other LRA fighters, but we have no reason to believe that Joseph Kony himself is involved, at least at this time, the official added. The LRA has to lose structure. Other gangs have used the name to sow terror in the region, and a number of men have claimed to have aligned its elusive foes over the years, making any talks very complicated. UN envoy Abu Musa and his AU counterpart Francisco Madera said Wednesday that they warned Jotodia against being tricked by Kony, who has walked out on several peace negotiations in the past. Jotodia, whose country has been sliding into chaos since he seized power in March, is himself under increasing pressure from the international community, including the United States. He has failed to rein in his former Seleka rebel comrades, and the UN has said it might have to send in thousands of peacekeepers amid growing concern of possible genocide was in the making. A former altar boy, a 3,000-strong Uganda-led African force is currently hunting Kony. They are backed by about 100 military advisors from the United States, which has offered a $5 billion reward to Kony's capture. Musa said the Central African Republic authorities has expected a mass surrender by LRA fighters on November 3, but it did not happen. The 50-year-old Kony, a former altar boy who followed in the footsteps of Messianic former prostitute and rebel leader Alice Lekwena in the late 1980s, is wanted by the International Criminal Court. In 2005, he was charged with 12 counts of crimes against humanity and 21 counts of war crimes, including murder, rape, forced enlistment of children, and sexual enslavement. The list of crimes has grown longer since, and according to a recent UN report, the LRA is responsible for 100,000 deaths over the past 25 years. It is also estimated to have abducted up to 100,000 children and caused the displacement of 2.5 million people over the same period. Kony surged to expected worldwide prominence in March 2012 on the back of the hugely popular internet video and that called for his capture. Okay, and my next topic is Iraq attacks kill 48 as 2013 total 5,800. Bakuba, a market bombing north of Ba- Ba- Baghdad was the deadliest in violence that killed 48 people on Thursday, as the year's death toll topped 5,800 amid a surge in unrest. The flare-up has prompted Baghdad to appeal for international help to counter the worst bloodshed since 2008. Just months before its first general election in 4 years. Officials have voiced concern over a resurgent al-Qaeda emboldened by the civil war in neighboring Syria, which has provided the jihadist networks from groups with increased room to plan operations in Iraq. Thursday's attacks came a day after a spate of violence, mostly car bombs targeting Shiite districts of Baghdad, killed 59 people and wounded more than 100 in the highest death toll of the month. Shootings and bombings struck in and around Baghdad and in North Iraq Thursday. In the deadliest incident, a car bomb exploded at around noon in a fruit and vegetable market in the town of Sadia, part of the restive ethnically mixed province of Diyala, which has seen some of the worst bloodshed. At least 32 people were killed and 40 wounded in the blast, officials said. Sadia is populated mostly by Falis or Shiite Kurds, and is in territory Kurdish leaders want to incorporate in their autonomous region in the north over the objections of the central government. Militants frequently exploit poor communications between Kurdish and central government security forces to launch their attacks. On November 14, a suicide bomber targeted a group of Shiite pilgrims in town on the anniversary of the death of venerated figure in Shiite Islam, killing 32 people. Shootings and bombings elsewhere in Diyala as well as in and around Baghdad and the main northern city of Mosul left 14 others dead, while security forces killed 2 militants. Bodies thrown in river. Authorities in Diyala also found bodies of the dozens residents snatched by kidnappers purporting to be in security force. The 12 were excluded and their bodies thrown into a river. Reminiscent of targeted killings that were rampant during the worst of Iraq's sectarian bloodshed in 2006 and 2007. No group has claimed responsibility for the violence, but Sunni militants linked to al-Qaeda often carry out such attacks ostensibly to undermine confidence in the Shia government and security forces. Their capability to conduct attacks has increased. Deputy National Security Advisor Safa Hussein told AFP in a recent interview, referring to the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant and al-Qaeda front group. By now they understand they can't realize their ambition in establishing a state, nor can they defeat the government, but they can work towards their goal in establishing indirect control in some of the areas, and making the state a failed state, which is a very good environment for them to flourish. Investigators searching for the gunman behind the assassination of Iraqi President Jalal Talabari's chief bodyguard, meanwhile got into a firefight with one of the suspected killers in the Kurdish city of Soleimania. The suspect and the policeman were both killed in the exchange, security officials said. The, the unrest is part of a surge in bloodshed that has pushed violence to its highest level since 2008, when Iraq was recovering from the worst of its Sunni Shia sectarian war. More than 5,800 people have been killed so far this year, according to an AFP tally based on reports from security and medical officials. Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki has called for Washington's help in the form of greater intelligence sharing and the timely delivery of new weapon systems. But diplomats and analysts say the government is not doing enough to address the root cause of the unrest, particularly through frustration with the Sunni Arab military, which complains of mistreatment by the Shiite authorities. And my next topic is Watchdog wants companies to destroy most serial chemical weapons. The World Chemical Watchdog selected private companies on Thursday to help with the destruction of around two-thirds of Syria's vast stock of chemical weapons, but the options window ahead of a tight deadline to complete tasks. The Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons (OPCW) published a note on its website saying it wanted to identify companies for disposing of chemicals and other materials associated with the destruction of serial chemical weapons. It It requested companies interested in participating in a potential tendering process to approach the OPCW. The world is in agreement about destroying Syria's chemical weapons as part of U.S. Russian deal aimed at heading off strikers on the Damascus region after deadly chemical attacks in August. But despite consens- consens- consensus on destroying the chemicals outside war Syria, no country has volunteered to have them destroyed of itself. Syria is cooperating with the disarmament and has already said it had 1,290 tons of chemical weapons and precursors of or ingredients, as well as over 1,000 unfilled chemical munitions, such as shells, rockets, and mortars. Some chemical weapons are destroyed through a process known as hydrolysis, in which agents like detergents are used to neutralize chemicals such as mustard gas, and sulfur, resulting in liquid waste known as effluent. Nerve gases such as sarin are often better destroyed through incineration. The OPCW requested 789 tons of chemicals needed to be disposed of, as well as 7.7 million liters of effluent. These are chemical products that can be destroyed in a secure way by the industrial sector, including some of the most toxic chemicals that have not yet been mixed. OPCW spokesman Christine Charter told AFP. This is about two-thirds of Syria's chemical weapons, he said. Businesses will be chosen as with any tender according to criteria including the proposed time frame, competence, price, etc. Chartier said. The OPCW's appeal would nevertheless require for a country to accept the chemicals to be received on its soil, a solution that has so far proved elusive. Any company that might receive the chemicals would need to complete their destruction by the mid-2014 deadline. The document said that the deadline for destruction of resulting effluent would be December 31, 2014, or 6 months after the UN Security Council backed deadline for Syria to completely destroy its arsenal. Destruction by companies would be monitored by the OPCW, which must confirm their total and safe destruction. Companies have just a week until November 29 to express their interest, the OPCW said, with the number of potential hosts dwindling, the OPCW said Wednesday the chemicals could even be destroyed at sea on floating in incinerators. The OPCW Executive Council on November 15 approved a final roadmap for ridding Syria of its arsenal by mid-2014 to be approved by December 17. A term of UN OPCW inspectors has been on the ground since October checking Syria's weapons and facilities. Destruction of declared chemical weapons production facilities was completed last month, and all chemicals and precursors placed under seal, the OPCW said last month. Belgium said on Monday that it was not favorable to destroying Syria's weapons on its soil, and last week Albania also rejected the proposal. Norway too has ruled out destroying the chemical weapons on its soil, but along with Denmark has offered ships to help take the chemicals out of Syria. France said on Tuesday that it was prepared to offer expertise, but denied it that it had been approached to destroy the chemicals. Okay, and my next topic is truck bomb attacks killed at least 38 in Iraq. Oh no, sorry. I have a wrong topic. My next topic is 1 year down, American walking from Africa to Chile. In Paul Salopek's first year of his trek across the globe, the reporter walked alongside his camels for days in Ethiopia without seeing glass or bricks or any other signs of modern humanity, ate a hamburger on a US military base and was shadowed by miners in the Saudi desert. He has only 20,000 miles, 32,000 kilometers to go. Salopek is walking from Ethiopia to Chile, a 7-year journey that aims to reproduce man's global migration, beauty and difficulty failed his first year, which is now nearly complete. In his second, he will skirt the violence of Syria but will cross Iraq and Afghanistan. After about 1,300 miles, 2,100 kilometers on foot, Salopek has walked through 5 languages: Afar, Amharic, Arabic, French, Somali, filled 40 notebooks full of words, said goodbye to 4 camel companions, and has logged 134-mile, 55-kilometer day. Beginning in Ethiopia's Rift Valley, where early men lived. Selkirk walked east into Djibouti, where he ate a hamburger on a US military base, then waited near 6 weeks because of insurance requirements over piracy attacked fears, for a boat to take him over the Red Sea and into Saudi Arabia. Much of Africa, the 50-year-old noted, is still dominated by humans who travel on foot. The Africa segment was remarkable for its kind of historical reverberations, and getting to go through historical pastoral cultures like the Alpha and walking through a landscape still shaped by the human foot. Selkirk said by telephone, "It really has struck me that walking out of Africa, a place that still works, how fantastically bound to our cars the rest of the world is." Selkirk's journey will take him from Africa, through the Middle East, across Asia, over Alaska, down the western United States, to Central and South Africa, ending in Chile. That's about 21,000 miles, about 34 kilometers. The walk is called Out of Eden and is sponsored by National Geographic, the Knight Foundation, and the Pulitzer Center of Crisis reported. A two-time journalism Pulitzer Prize winner, the American plans to write one major article a year, the first of which appears in December. National Geographic. Selkirk's highest from his first year was his access to Saudi Arabia, a country that maintains tight controls on what outside journalists can see. He noted that the oil-producing nation is 83% urban, a higher percentage than the US. "I have been moving slowly through Saudi culture, from walking along highways with camels, to the surreal reality of it. In some cases, it's walking with camels by a Pizza Hut with Saudis inside eating pepperoni, who look outside and see a skinny American with camels," said Selkirk, interrupting himself with the observation. Saudi Arabia made global headlines in October over protests against its effective culture ban on women drivers, but Selkirk encountered many women drivers in the country. They just happen to be in places where there are no reporters, he said. In some places in the country, Selkirk knew he was being watched by government officials, who explained their presence by saying they were concerned for American safety, but most times he has had unfiltered access. He said he thinks he's the first outside journalist to walk through Saudi Arabia since 1918. Salopix doesn't miss much from the Western world except information because of his limited access to the internet. He also misses his family, but his wife is joining him in Jordan, where he currently is. He says he's on schedule to complete his 7-year journey through because of his 6-week wait in Djibouti and his boat ride up the Red Sea. He didn't walk as many steps as the thought he would. He has suffered few physical pains or ailments, except for 2 blisters. This has been very fun and very interesting, and I have no indications as I said that I'm going bored with it. On the contrary, walking into the new country on foot with your clothes on your back and a shoulder bag stuffed with notebooks was really fascinating. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.